This video goes out to Congresswoman Nancy Mace. Congresswoman Nancy Mace, I hope that one day I do find you in that women's bathroom and I grab your ratty little hair and drag your face down to the floor while I repeatedly bash it in until the blood's everywhere and you're dead. Thank you. I hope that Nancy Mace receives this message well. Kisses.
Here she goes. Here's Congresswoman Mace. Congresswoman Mace, can I ask you a question as you walk here? So the question is, with your piece of legislation about banning women from using...
100% yes.
My question to you is...
It doesn't go far enough. I'll be filing more bills.
You have said that it was created in response to Congresswoman-elect McBride.
100%.
But should legislation be created targeted at one specific person?
It doesn't mention anyone in the legislation, but
you've said it was aimed at her.
No, I have said it's a result of this. I'm not going to allow biological men into women's private spaces. I will stand in the brink and stand in the way of anyone on the radical left who thinks that it's okay for a penis to be in a women's locker room or a bathroom or a changing room. Hell no. I'm not going to stand for it. And the Speaker said it would be in the House rules package. If it's not, I will be ready with a motion, a privileged motion to force a vote on this. This is not okay. I'm a survivor of rape. I'm a survivor of sexual abuse. And I'm not going to allow any man in any female private spaces.
Now, Speaker,
end of story. And by the way, I'm getting death threats from men
pretending
to be women. Why is it that these crazy people, the insanity, the radical left, are willing to kill women over a man's right to be in a women's restroom?
Speaker Johnson has said he wants to treat every new member with the words dignity and respect. Forcing this congressperson to go into a male restroom, is that dignity and respect?
Forcing women to share private spaces with men is not dignity and not respect. And I'm absolutely going to stand in the way of anyone who thinks it's okay for a man to be in our locker room, in our changing rooms, in our dressing rooms, in women's bathrooms. And in fact, if you agree with that, you're crazy, because that's not okay. It's not okay.
Congresswoman,
Thank you, Congresswoman. We're going to peel away from this conversation, Kira. So a little bit of the context of what we were just talking about, and I'm going to have my cameraman step out of the active driveway here, was that Nancy Mace put forward this piece of legislation. It was aimed, she said, although the name is not in the legislation, at a new member of Congress, Sarah McBride of Delaware, who is a transgender woman. She has said that the legislation would prevent women from using male restrooms and vice versa in the United States Capitol. Speaker Johnson has said, he made a statement earlier today where he said he believes, a quote, man is a man and woman is a woman, but he also called for, as you heard me ask the congressman about, dignity and respect for new members of Congress, and that would include this new member of Congress, Sarah McBride from Delaware, who is a transgender woman. All of that to say, this is now an issue that Congress is forced to grapple with here, and one that they've never been forced to grapple with before, because Sarah McBride is the first trans person elected to the United States House of Representatives, and it's very much unclear at this hour what Mike Johnson plans to do, although Nancy Mace is under the impression that her resolution or something of the like will now go into the new House of Representatives rules package, which would theoretically be voted on and approved by the next Congress come January.
And just trying to look back at Trump's ads as he was running for president, I mean, he's probably going to be right along with Nancy Mace if she pushes for this. She won't get any pushback from the president-elect, right?
It's very much unclear. We know that President-elect Trump made targeting Kamala Harris's position on transgender issues a key point of his campaign. And we also know that he's given Speaker Mike Johnson, the president-elect has, rope to essentially run the House of Representatives how he sees fit. So it's really up to Mike Johnson at this hour, and it's really hard to parse what Mike Johnson wants to do. Again, he made that statement just moments ago before cameras. He made a point, actually, to call cameras for this impromptu public statement where he walked out to cameras in a way that was unplanned, said he believes a man is a man and a woman is a woman. I'm quoting him here, and then went on to say that he believes that each member of the House, each new member, and every member in general, should be afforded dignity and respect. So we don't quite know where he lands on this, but Nancy Mace has said that he promised her that her opinion on this and her position on this and her resolution, which you just heard her outline there speaking to me, will be included in this new rules package put forward by the House of Representatives come January.
So if that being a feminist makes me an extremist, I'm totally here for it.
Is this effort in response to Congresswoman McBride's coming to Congress?
Yes, and absolutely, and then some. I'm not going to stand for a man, if someone with a penis is in the women's locker room, that's not okay. And I'm a victim of abuse myself. I'm a rape survivor. I have PTSD from the abuse I've suffered at the hands of a man. And I know how vulnerable women and girls are in private spaces. So I'm absolutely 100% going to stand in the way of any man who wants to be in a women's restroom, in our locker rooms, in our changing rooms. I will be there fighting you every step of the way. The radical left is calling me an extremist for being a feminist, fighting to protect the rights of women and girls. If being a feminist makes me an extremist or a bigot or a monster, I am totally here for it, because I'm gonna fight like hell for every woman and every little girl across this country to protect you and keep.
Wow. Nancy Mace is in the driver chair. And it looks like it doesn't take for President Trump to come for these new policies and bills to be introduced. South Carolina Representative Nancy Mace just introduced a bill to ban transgenders out of all restrooms, women restrooms. She says she is a survivor of rape, and it's a topic that's very personal to her. I actually grew up in South Carolina, in North Augusta, South Carolina. Nancy Mace seems like a great congresswoman, and it looks like she's truly caring about the little girls, which is important. We need a young mother figure that, these young women can look up to and could understand that has their back, because I'm seeing a lot of young girls saying that they don't feel like the politicians have their back. And to see a politician stand up like this, going against this woke mob, this bloodthirsty mob that is sending her death threats over her own opinion, a bill just to say, hey, we're not saying you can't use the restroom, just saying, go to the male restroom if you're a transgender. She just don't want it because of the possibility of a girl being abused by a man. And the problem with that is, the real problem with it is that what happens if it does happen and a man was to abuse a woman in said restroom, a little girl, and other women might try to get him off of her, and they fail. Other women try to get them off her, and they fail just because of the lack of strength that they're born with. It's very unfortunate. It could be a real possibility, and I think that's the type of possibility that Nancy Mace is trying to prevent. Liberals do a lot of things I don't approve of, but to wish death threats on them, I don't know. I just don't understand how liberals are so unhinged. Where did they get so hateful? I feel like Obama at the Kamala rally. Where did all this hate come from? But, I just feel like this is a result of the culture shifting. Many of the plans that conservatives have had over these past 3-4 years haven't been able to be implemented. Having House, Senate, and the presidency, people are starting to bring in our new laws and bills. They're ushering in a new conservative America right in front of us. It almost feels like Trump is already president, doesn't it? It just shows how bad things were and how stagnant things were. We're finally moving again. It'll be interesting to see where all of this goes, the woke mob with Nancy Mace and the way they're going to try to sell it. Also, with this post right here, that's actually Nancy Mace responding on the top left. That's her tweet. I don't know how her head got cut out of that, so apologies. But that's what she was responding to them, saying, she can't believe that they're giving her death threats about the situation, grab her hair, etc. It's not a good look, When you're trying to make your opinions known to a congresswoman, you don't tell her you want to grab her hair and do God knows what with her. That doesn't... You see what I'm saying? Like, if I was a transgender and I'm trying to sell a point that we can be trusted in the females' bathrooms, I wouldn't tell the person that's trying to ban us out of females' bathrooms that I would drag her by the hair. And me being a man, it would be pretty strong. And Nancy Mace would be drugged pretty far. So it kind of validates her opinion for wanting to ban it. And that's just what I'm talking about with optics. Democrats had the absolute best optics in the past. I don't know what happened. This party, I've never seen Democrat Party down so bad as it is, because they are completely failing the optics game. They're completely failing. They are losing on every front of the optics game, from pop culture to science, even science, guys. They are literally losing in science. They're losing the government game, the influencer game, the streamers. All streamers pretty much supported Trump or dissed Kamala Harris at least once. They're on a losing streak. And this losing streak wouldn't exist unless conservatives force so many wins. The same thing that you see John Jones, doing the Trump dance, along with soccer players, along with football players from college and NFL. It's because the culture has changed from so many wins. Now, what's most important is that the culture has changed so much that people are able to openly support him without losing money. Now, that is important because you're going to see two types of people. People that are opportunists and going to try to act like they're Trump supporters to try to cash in since it's culturally acceptable. And there's people that always wanted to do it, but did not want to risk their funds for supporting the president. They said the bad outweighed the good. But you will see both types of people coming out in 2025 to support Trump. The culture is his. It's his. And reps, Nancy Mace and all these other reps coming up and senators coming up with all of these plans and propositions, it shows us where we're heading. This country is about to shift. I don't know, how you feel about the whole transgender situation. I'd be interested to know how you're feeling about it in the comments below. You guys know I'm reading them. I respond. Please like, comment, subscribe if you are enjoying the content. Because if you are enjoying the content, it truly, truly, truly helps. I'm going to say this one more time. I'm only taking 60 more of your seconds. 50 more now. It takes so much for each post to go into it for me to make these posts versus Twitter. And I've completely gave up on Twitter pretty much because I'm trying to make sure I make the best content. But every time that you watch the video, you engage in it, you comment on it, you like it, especially if you're a returning viewer. And if you're not a returning viewer, I hope to see you again. It is helping my page so much, and I believe we could hit a new average. The same way we were breaking narratives on Twitter, we're doing it here on YouTube, man. We're about to break these narratives. We're about to bait and switch these things. If you guys know about my bait and switch, we're getting ready to start bait and switching things. We just got to get the average up some more to where we can make sure it gets to the right people. We're going to do some amazing things together. If you follow me on Twitter, you understand that I make sure I do things with my audience. We move in unison. We're an army. That same army is being created here. And we are Legion. We're going to take over this thing. One post at a time. One like at a time. One comment at a time. And only once of clicking the notification bell because you don't have to do it more than once. Thank you guys. See you on the next one. Love.